This video is for homework 1, which is about circles. So I told you only have to do the odds, so I'm just going to go through the odds on this problem, or on these problems, since that's all you'll need to do for the homework. In the first section, this says to write the equation of each circle with the given information. So this would be x minus -9 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals 1 squared. We could just simplify that as x plus 9 squared plus y squared equals 1. Okay, the next one, we have the center and an endpoint. So we have the center and then an endpoint. Let's say it's right there. So we need to find the distance between those 2 points, which would be the radius. So the distance is the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. And it doesn't matter which one is x2 or x1 as long as you keep the points together. So the 4 and the 7 both either need to be the first point or the second point. So I am going to do 4 minus -1 squared plus 7 minus -2 squared. So that would be, this is 5, this is 9. So that's the square root of 25 plus 81, which gives us the square root of 106. That's the radius. So now the equation, we have x minus 4 squared plus y minus 7 squared equals the square root of 106 squared. So since we have a square and a square root, I'm just going to erase those, and it's just equal to 106. Okay, the next one, we have the endpoints of the diameter. So we know the diameter goes all the way across the circle. So we can just use the midpoint formula to find the center. For the midpoint, we add the two x's together, divide by 2, and then for the y coordinate, we add the y's together and divide by 2. So we have -6 plus -8 divided by 2, and then for the y's, we have 2 plus 10 divided by 2. So -6 plus -8 is -14. And then 2 plus 10 is 12. So that tells us that the center is at -7, 6. Now we have the center, but we need the radius. So we need to do the same thing that we did on this problem, which is to find the distance between the center and one of those points. So I'm just going to use this point and the center. So we have x2 minus x1, which, so this is our x2, this is our x1, then this would be y2 and y1. And like I said, this could, like over here, this point could be x2, y2, and this could be x1, y1, but the way that I have it labeled is fine. So then we'd have 2 minus 6 here. So this is -6 plus 7, which is 1, and this is -4. So that would be the square root of 1 squared plus -4 squared, which is the square root of 1 plus 16. Remember, when you square a negative, it's always positive because it's -4 times -4. So that tells us that the radius is the square root of 17. So now for the equation, we have x minus -7. So I'm going to just put x plus 7 plus y minus 6 squared, and that is equal to the square root of 17 squared. But just like on the previous problem, we have a square and a square root, so those cancel each other out. And that's the equation. Now this one, it should be pretty easy because you can see the center, you can see the radius, so you should be able to write the equation. The center is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. to the right, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 negative. So that's the center. And then the radius is 3. So the equation here is x minus 5 squared plus y plus 4 squared equals 3 squared, but we know 3 squared is 9. So that's our equation there. Now the next section, we're just identifying the center and radius. So here, this is x minus negative 1. This is y minus negative 4. So our center is negative 1, negative 4. The radius is the square root of 81, which is 9. Okay, on the next one, we have x minus 7. So 7 is the x-coordinate, and then y minus negative 2. So that's negative 2 there. The radius is the square root of 40. Okay, or we could write 6.32. But this is the exact form here. So I would prefer that you write it as the square root of 40. But actually, if there's a question on the quiz, I'll put it as a decimal. So I'll try. I don't think I can make it an option to do a square root on the quiz, but I will check and see. Okay, the next one, this is writing the equation in standard form. So we have our x squared and our y squared on the correct side, but there's a number here that shouldn't be there. So I'm going to move that first. So we have 3x squared plus 3y squared equals 147. And just like it explained in the video, we don't have any numbers in front of the x squareds or y squareds, even if there's parentheses around them, if the center is not at 0. So we need to divide this side by 3 and divide this side by 3. So those 3's cancel. So we get x squared plus y squared equals 49. Now that's in standard form. And the center we know is 0, 0, because this is like x minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals 7 squared. So the radius is 7. Okay, on this one, we need to move this y to the other side. So we have x squared plus y squared plus 12y plus blank equals negative 32. So this is where we're going to complete the square. I'm going to draw this over on the other side. And I know that other people explain it differently. So if that makes more sense to you, just use the method that makes the most sense. But this is the way that we did it in class. So on this side is 6y, this is 6y, so that means that 36 goes here, and we add 36 on this side. So we have x squared plus this length is y plus 6. So we have y plus 6 squared equals 4, because that's what this simplifies to. So the center here is the x coordinate is 0, and then this is y minus negative 6, so that would be negative 6. And then the radius is 2, because that's the square root of 4. Okay, and then this is our last problem on this homework assignment. So I'm going to move this 10x and this 3y over because they need to be on the same side, and we do that by subtracting. So I'm just going to subtract 10x and subtract 3y. So now we have x squared minus 10x plus blank plus y squared plus 4y plus blank equals negative 13. Now for the x's, we have x squared, and then negative 10x, that means that we have negative 5x here and negative 5x here, which means we're adding 25. So we have x minus 5 squared. And then for the y values, or for the y part, we need to complete the square as well. So we have y squared. 4y means that we have 2y here, which means we're adding 4. and we have y plus 2 squared. And then if we simplify everything here, that is just 16. So the center is at 5, -2, and the radius is 4.